Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to Critic the Casual. I'm your host, Recuffs. Joining me as always is the amazing, uh, um,
The action packed.
yes, the action packed. I was leaning towards patriotic, but that wouldn't be the truth right now, I don't think so.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Let's be real here. Come
Yeah,
on. Come
not
on.
right
You know
now.
me. I'm a.
You're a commie.
No, well,
Yeah, dirt. I'm just kidding. Not important. Hi, Dev. How you doing today?
I'm all right.
I like your hair. It looks very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it looks good. I'm no, for those who don't see Dev right now. It's very red, very bright. I like it.
It looks really good. It turned out really well.
Mhm. It looks very nice. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
is there anything you want to talk about before we start talking about the movies today?
Yeah, so these movies will all suck, so let's just move on to the next week.
All right, so yeah, let's go. So, uh, let's start talking about what we're doing this week. This week, I have called it "More to Ignore." So, I should have called it "The More You Ignore" instead of "More to Ignore," but whatever. We're talking about G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, G.I. Joe: Retaliation, and then Snake Eyes: G.I. Joe Origins. And
Yeah, there's going to be some conversations.
mhm,
It's one of
absolutely.
those weeks. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. Oh, I stepped on the cord.
Dev's doing a thing. It's brighter light. Brighter light.
But it means that I can do. Oh, that already looks just way better.
Yeah, it
Suddenly.
looks pretty nice. Yeah, it looks pretty nice right now.
Means I can do that.
Ooh, fancy lighting.
Hell yeah, dude.
Man, that means at some point I'm gonna actually have to use my green screen on the show. You got a nice background. I have to have a nice background.
I mean, you had the option for a while.
Yeah, I know, but oh, whatever. It's kind of funny though. Interesting how you have red hair when I think the most popular character in the show, the series, has red hair as well. So
In this series?
in the whole series, yeah, all three movies, there's one character who's reoccurring that has red hair.
You're talking about
Lady J, Miss Scarlet.
they're different characters.
I know,
That's the thing.
but like if you look at their like IMDb, or if you look at the GI Joe when you Google it, they're named as the same character, just different act. Like they're both named Scarlet.
Yeah. Listen, man, I have comments about Retaliation when we get there, okay?
There's a lot to talk about when we get to all of these movies. Let's just be completely honest. So,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
Uh, any last minute words before we hop into or slither on
No.
into our first movie?
I'm ready to slither on in the first movie,
All right. So our first movie today we're talking about is G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra.
which was released on August 7th, 2009, with a budget of $175 million estimated. Opening U.S. and Canadian weekend, $54 million. Gross U.S. and Canada, $150 million. And worldwide, $302 million. So not a ton of money made on this movie.
Not a
I'm
ton.
genuinely surprised there's a sequel, now that I think about it.
It's because there's one sequence in this movie that's actually really good.
And what's that?
The Paris Eiffel Tower scene. That is probably
Okay.
the best segment when it comes to the technical mastery of the art
I
of cinema.
100% agree. I 100% agree with you. I think there's a couple other scenes that I would say can be compared to it, it's just not as good.
Hmm.
Like the whole kind of end climax is at least like entertaining in its tomfoolery.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and this might be future spoiler for a moment, but like, where's this in the rest of the franchise? Where's this scene in the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, there's not really that scene in the rest of the
This
franchise.
movie learns to have fun with itself with the concept. The rest of this franchise, I don't get this franchise anymore. I never got it actually. I got it here a little bit because it's just having fun with a stupid property.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just having fun. It's transformering. Okay,
Mhm.
just do this. Be campy. People like camp now. Be a little campy. Be a little true to yourself. We don't need to be gritty and shit. We'll get there. We'll get there, Dev. We'll get there. No, this one this one's interesting because like I know I've seen this several times, but every time it's always, oh yeah, the Ninth Doctor's the villain in this.
See, for me, I sat down this weekend thinking I've never seen any of these movies. It's gonna be fine. And then I was like, oh shit, I've seen this movie like 8 times and have blocked it out of my memory. Like,
I know the plot to this movie, but who's in it? Like the fact that that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this movie. I've never kept that information in my head. The fact that Marlon Wayans is in this movie, that Dennis Quaid is in this movie. The only actor who seems to retain any memory to me is just Channing fucking Tatum.
I mean, you know who else was in this movie? Ray Park.
Ray Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people in this movie who you would know if you saw them, but you just don't remember as being in this movie.
Exactly. I honestly forgot that Channing Tatum was the lead. Like, oh, that's Channing Tatum. Oh yeah. Who was
This
that?
movie also has one thing. It has charisma.
Yes. But is that charisma in 2 very tight black bodysuits? Like, this movie does have a lot of interesting characters, and the character dynamic between them all is interesting. But I feel like a lot of that sells this movie is the like I'm not gonna say that there's a lot of sexual tension in this movie, but they spend a lot of time trying to imply that these people are very attracted to this woman. And
I mean, yes,
yeah.
but Steven,
And then they have
I'm not going to defend it.
yeah, we're not gonna defend it at all, I hope.
No, I'm not.
It's just a dumb decision from the early to mid 2000s that thankfully they
Yeah, I was going to say, it's unfortunately the, what, like
2009 you said
late
earlier?
2000, like the 20s?
Yeah, only almost the 20 teens.
Yeah.
So whatever. But
Okay, you know the only other person I remember who's in this movie every time?
who's that?
Jonathan Price,
Okay.
the president.
Oh yes, yes. Mr. President, who doesn't even have a name.
Yes. Our unnamed president.
He's just the U.S. president.
Just the U.S. president.
Yeah. Though I'm thinking of this movie, I want to talk about some of the stuff that happens because it's very campy and funny and dumb, and a lot of it feels situational for the moment. Like they decided to do this thing only because they're like that would look really cool on screen, but it does nothing for the movie. Like, instance, they have this really interesting training montage where they're like, we have to make you super good at what you do, so then you could use the suit only once the entire time in the movie. And
They need to use that suit more. That suit was fun.
they needed to use the suits more. Additionally, that's like in that suit scene, they're like, we're gonna have Scarlet chase after them on a motorcycle so she could shoot one guy and immediately get picked back up and put into the van. But we're gonna cut to Scarlet racing through traffic a few times. Keep it interesting.
Dude, as I was seeing that scene, I'm like, Mission Impossible did better.
Yeah.
In that exact same area, they did it better.
Or, for instance, our main character in this movie is Duke, played by Channing Tatum. But why the hell do we have so many Snake Eyes flashbacks? And my question now...
Because he's interesting.
Yeah, he's interesting. Now my question
He's
is...
supposed to be.
Is he crazy? But we'll get into that later.
No, Steven, you want to know why?
It's a retcon.
It's a reboot.
So yeah. um, we'll talk about that later.
Yes,
And
we will.
and part of the reason why I also called this uh, the more to ignore, because we'll talk about it later.
Um, Interesting choice on the Snake Eyes uniform in this, though.
Yeah, I like the lips. It reminded me of the
You
bat
like
nipples.
that? Okay.
Yeah, I was about to, well, let me finish while I was saying there.
Okay, I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, they're on the same level as the bat nipples, you know?
It's a choice. It's a real choice that just, no.
Ugh. Yeah.
How do you breathe in that?
Through the one slit in between the lips, obviously. Yeah, you're just sitting there the whole time.
Like, the fuck? Yeah, this movie does some things that are interesting, but like I like the premise it sets up. I like the cast. The cast is fun, and I really looked forward to seeing the cast return.
Mhm.
When we get to the sequel, like it was something that I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, they
Um,
have such an interesting dynamic, and you actually get to see like character relationships develop in between characters.
yeah,
And,
or see how those relationships were developed or how they interact with each other normally.
yeah,
There's one that's a little weird with the French dude where he like
yeah, the French.
needle a haystack.
Yeah, yes,
Joke.
the haystack in a coal mine. Yes, because they have
Yeah.
cultural differences, so they have different sayings. Yeah, totally.
I do like Monster saying just copy my background, by the way. That'd be funny. Um,
Sorry. He's that like forever ago.
Sorry, I have chat like all the way over on the monitor. We've been
Oh.
talking about the movie, so I've been looking at the IMDb.
Oh God, that hit me out of nowhere. I was like, he's not really gonna just comment on that, is he? That came out like 15 minutes ago.
Steven, you could use the green version, and I'll use the red version.
Oh,
Whoa.
look at that hair.
Yeah, I'll use red for Cobra.
Oh, ow. Sorry. I'm okay.
Listen, chat's as far away from me as possible. It's not in this peripheral. It's not in this peripheral. It's like all the way over here.
Green
And
monitor
Monster does
problems,
not.
man.
Well, and Monster has like a dark color for his
Mhm.
name, so I didn't even see it pop.
I see.
It's
I
just
see.
purple and dark red, all the way over to the side. Yeah, sorry, I killed Steven a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the movie. Marvel connections. Christopher Eccleston
Yeah.
and Adwell Aquina Adbajol, Agabajol. I'm not. The fact I fucked up Christopher at the beginning of that should have just been a sign. I'm not gonna get names today.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'm pretty
Um,
sure his first name is Adwale.
Adwale.
Yeah,
Okay.
Adwale. I don't want to try anymore because
I'm giving it the attempt. If someone has the correct enunciation to do it, then we'll be fine.
I'm
But
okay. Okay, I'm gonna attempt it here. Adwale Akadoy Baje.
that actually sounds like accurate, so we'll go with it.
We can go with it.
Um, so those two are Marvel connections from the same fucking Marvel movie that would be made like
2 years later.
no, it would have been 2014, I think. Dark World's 2014, I believe.
Or 2013.
Oh, I was close. 4 years later, literally as Curse and Malekith, like the two characters who are with each other the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny to me. But yeah, this one's it sets up something that could be fun.
It does. It really does. I mean, it doesn't entirely go into too much depth about it all. I feel like a lot of what they do is pretty surface level when it comes to the development that they do have, but it's all for the spectacle and all for the fun. Like that's the point of this.
And that's what this franchise should be.
Mm-hmm. And it was pretty good. Like I would have been fine if there was a couple of moralistic lessons in there. Like they literally had the line "the more you know" in this movie, and it
there's
was
no moral to it.
yeah. It's just they know more about the fight that they're about to have. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, agreed.
But
But it's also a movie from 2009.
hmm. Like I freaking loved how it's literally they're the same people but on opposite sides. Like we got the bad guy ninja in the white outfit, we got the good guy ninja in the black outfit, we got the two ladies in the skin tight black spandex that like their handheld guns. Um and then we've got our duo who are fighting together to, get their job done. Just they're literally just
Steven, you have the wrong screen up.
why really? Have I hit a button by mistake? I did hit a button by
I
yeah.
just noticed that.
Hmm.
Easy fix. Easy fix. Yeah, and I mean, I wish this movie did like maybe a couple things more.
Hmm.
But like I can't complain too much. I think it has fun with its premise, which is all you could really ask it to do.
Trying to think if there's anything that I was really disappointed because it is
But you had
fun.
to see this movie again, and it's just unmemorable.
Exactly. That's the worst thing. Like I'm literally sitting here going, the sequences that I can remember are the things that we've already talked about, and I'm like, okay, what's happened in between? Yeah, I can't remember. Mhm. Oh, I know the question I want to have. Our bad guy, who ends up being our ultimate bad guy at the end. I can't remember his name, and I don't want to spoil it. Um,
We could say what he turns into though, because that's
yeah,
not really a spoiler.
yeah,
Cobra Commander.
yeah. He is Cobra Commander. Um, However, I don't like how he came to be based off of what they tell us in this.
I agree 100%.
Like there was an A, there was a B, and then we jumped to X, and the movie went from X to Z. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't get the middle part there. So like,
Well, it went to Y to X, and then, or no, it went to X to Y, and the next movie takes it to Z.
okay, yeah, that's better.
Because we get the thing in the next movie that I love that it did.
Hmm.
Okay, with Cobra Commander. All
Okay,
right, straight up.
we'll talk about
I'll
that.
talk more about it.
Yeah. So okay, this movie only other I'm gonna quickly rapidly click through the pictures to try and think if there's anything else that I want to talk about. And at the moment the answer is pretty much no.
All right. Then
Maybe it might be like the technology that they establish, which
I
is
like it because it's not real.
yeah,
Okay.
I do like it and I don't like it at the same time. Like I don't know where it sits for me because it almost becomes a fantasy with the amount of
I'm
sci-fi that
cool
they
with
have.
that. That GI Joe has that though in their like lore. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they have tech that doesn't make sense. I had like my brother had Snake Eyes like action figure, and I had some dude who had like a gun that turned into three different guns. Um,
Transforming
like it
gun.
broke down. It broke down to like different size of the gun as it like lost attachments and stuff.
Oh, so it's
So
Han
eventually it
Solo's
became
gun.
like a kinda. Yeah, actually. Let's not bring that up again. Um, yeah, though. I don't know. It's
Oh, I just remembered. I saw a picture of helicopters here. Two things I wanted to laugh about is like kind of what they establish in their world, and like it's nothing majorly wrong. It's just kind of silly because they establish that one their base is in Egypt in the desert, and
yep.
I just think it's funny that they'll open up these vents for the helicopters and things to fly out of, and there's just not an ocean of sand pouring on them. I'm just, that's a nitpick because of gritty realism, but that's not what this movie is. They just like we just gotta go. Movie has to happen.
Just movie got to move it.
Yeah.
Come on.
The one thing that I did not like, it was consistent, so I could see why you didn't bring it up, was the vehicle CG in this movie. It was very
Oh,
bad.
yeah, it's consistent. So
It's
I
consistently
eventually
bad.
just
Yeah.
I just eventually ignore it after a
But
certain point.
like I sent that to you in a message when the movie first started. I was like, they are using a real helicopter to film footage of things happening, but then they're using fake helicopters in their real footage of real things. Why aren't they using real helicopters if they already like? I was, it was budget, obviously,
Yeah,
but man, I kind of just wish it was more real. With
that's fair.
uh,
That is a fair critique.
at least when it comes to the look of the metal and the objects as they're flying through the sky.
Yes. Um. Yeah. No. For the vehicles, like it was consistent, so I didn't even like pay attention to it. Not gonna lie. I saw it once and went okay, and then it happened again. I'm like, all right, this is just the budget.
Yep,
Okay.
it's just how it's gonna work.
Oh yeah, Brendan Fraser's in this movie.
I'm having a problem remembering.
He's the trainer guy. Brendan Fraser, from The Mummy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the one who trains them is like
And
they're
this movie
Joes.
has The Mummy in it.
So I thought his role was interesting because he's not a Joe who's training other soldiers in the Joe's facility
Well,
based
he's a
off of his
Joe.
dialogue.
He's a Joe.
But what about all the people that is with him? Are they all Joes too?
Yep.
Because why would
Anyone in
he
that
say
facility's
they're
a Joe.
Joes? Like he's like I hate because when they talk to people, and then when characters talk, they're explaining it to other characters on the scene in the screen, not to the audience. So, I mean, it
Well, he
is.
was saying they're Joes, as in like, hey, they've made it at this point. Let's just call it a wrap here and do their normal training shit.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
got Emotep in it as well. Arnold
oh, oh,
Valslow.
This is also a random nitpick that I know doesn't really matter at all to the movie that we got, but I'm kind of upset that the Joes didn't get mad at Duke because there's one segment in this film where Duke knows who the bad woman is. Like he knows who she is, and so does our main character, our other side character, Ripcord. He knows who the bad girl is, and there's a good like 30 minutes of this movie where they're like, we need to figure out who she is, and Duke's like,
It's
don't
not
tell.
30 minutes.
It's 5 minutes, maybe 10.
It's 5 minutes. It's literally the same scene.
Yeah,
Even.
it's sequence segment, whatever. It's they're like, we got to figure out who she is, and he's like, we're not gonna tell her. It's I don't trust them yet. And then at the end of the training montage, they're like, oh, this is who she is, and they still have the Joes have no connection between Duke and her at all. Still somehow, even though they know that she is now rich and like has married somebody else, and then there's no ramifications for him hiding this information. Like they're like, we're trying to save the world, and you couldn't save us. However long the training montage was.
No, I think they'd say before the training montage. It's how he blackmails himself into the training montage. Remember? He
Not
goes,
really.
"Well, I
No.
know this information, so now we have to be Joes."
Hmm.
Fine, we'll train you. That's how that goes.
I don't really remember that. I don't think they have spots. It's fine. um. Yeah, I haven't really got much else, honestly.
I don't either.
All right, I guess here's your popcorn, Dev. How many are you giving this movie?
I'm giving it a 6.
That's a very fair score. That's the score I'm gonna give it.
Hey.
Who the hell? Which character is it? This is Anna. Okay, I feel bad for the actress who played Anna because all of her poster shots are her returns. But hey, look at my butt.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh well. I mean, even Scarlet has advertising that's like, look, my, but that's just men, gays, action. It's not an excuse how it worked back then. Oh well.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. We ready to move on to our next movie?
I think I'm ready to move on to the next movie.
All right, we're moving on to the next movie. G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Man, way to fuck it up in like 4 fucking years. March 28th, 2013, $130 million budget. Gross US opening weekend, or sorry, US opening weekend 40 million, gross US 122 million, gross worldwide 375 million. So more than the last one, less the budget. But still, way to fuck it up. You have The Rock and you make him uncharismatic as fuck. You have Adriana Padalecki, who is Mockingbird from the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, which should have had the spin-off Most Wanted, which would have starred her and Hunter, but I fucking digress because I can't have nice things.
She was also in the Orville. That's a really good Star Trek show, by the way. That's nothing to do with Star Trek.
Just, dude, like, rewatching this has some great moments like the Snake Eyes mountain scene.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking awesome action sequence. Man. Everything else in this.
Yeah, the rest of this movie sucks.
Where's the cast from the last one?
They literally start this movie by saying Duke is now in charge of the crew. So we've lost everyone who was in charge of him. He is now the big boss of the G.I. Joes. And it's like, and this is his 5 team members. And they name the 5 team members. And only 2 of them are from the last movie. Except one of them is a different actor. Or actress, technically. And then the other 3, or whoever they are not the same characters at all. And then, movie happens. And I'm going to spoil this a little bit. Duke fucking dies. Like,
it's not a spoiler, Steven. It's in the first 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And then everyone talked about it when it happened. Everyone went, why the fuck did you advertise Channing Tatum so fucking much in this movie if you're going to kill him in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah,
he's literally the second person you look at in the fucking poster.
And the main character is Dwayne Johnson.
The main poster that's on the IMDb is Bruce Willis, Channing Tatum, The Rock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He advertised the shit out of Bruce Willis and Channing Tatum, which is bullshit because Channing Tatum is killed in the first 5 minutes and Bruce Willis is in the other 5 minutes of the film.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole rest of the movie is a conversation, I guess. We have crew 1, which is Dwayne The Rock Johnson with
Jay and
Flint?
Yes, Flint,
yes. And then yeah, and then group 2 of the good guys is Snake Eyes and Jinx. They're on their own separate mission, doing their own thing for half the movie.
Yep.
And then the bad guys are, just Cobra and their crew. But they're not even all of the same Cobra crew. Because we don't get to see Destro in this movie.
Nope. We see him, but he's in a tank.
Mm-hmm.
We get Firefly introduced.
Yeah.
We get a new actor for Cobra Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Zartan is in this movie?
Kind of for
sort of?
5 seconds?
Part of it? Here and there?
3 seconds?
Flashbacks and part of the real movie?
He's technically there a little.
We
maybe?
have Havoc and Storm Shadow. That's really it.
Now, my complaint, other than the fact that they've changed the cast and all the characters and whatever, my main complaint, honestly, has to be just this movie sucks.
It's not good.
It's not good. Like, all the characters, I know this whole thing's like G.I. Joe. It's called G.I. Joe Retaliation. The idea is Cobra retaliates against G.I. Joe for what they've done to Cobra. And then the Joes retaliate against Cobra for what they did to the Joes. And it's like, oh my goodness, when will it ever end? well, the fighting is so intense and crazy, and then
But it's not,
yeah,
because they don't use any of the cool shit from the last one.
yeah, there's no super cool spectacle other than there's no cool spectacle. Like all there is in this movie is they make you second guess one of the bad guys, and it's not even well done. They how they change the storyline and story arc is terrible for what they do. It's for Storm Shadow. They talk his character development and his development with Snake Eyes.
Comment from chat.
Comment from
The
chat.
Rock isn't a spectacle, though, in this, unfortunately. Because The Rock can be a spectacle, and he's great at being a spectacle,
Yeah.
okay? He's fantastic. Look at Fast 5 up until Fate, and look at Hobbs and Shaw. Just that franchise alone is better for having The Rock in it. This doesn't let The Rock be The Rock, so I don't even think it's The Rock is the reason why that Channing Tatum is dead in 5 minutes, and why, like, he's, like, The Rock isn't even, like, the power of this movie. Because he's not utilized to his potential. We know what The Rock is good at that point in life.
I actually think it's kind of funny. The Rock, I feel like his audition for this movie was being in Fast 5. Because his character in Fast 5, Hobbs, is like boiled down to its simplest elements and then transferred over to this movie with Roadblock, where Roadblock's like, I drive big cars and I like big guns and I'm the big boss. And
there was no point of The Rock being in this movie. That's the problem.
No, there wasn't. It should have just been Channing Tatum.
Wayne, The Rock Johnson, you best smell what he's cooking. Because, like, if you're not, then what's the fucking point? Like, there's no point of having The Rock in this movie, and I hate saying it. Because he has, like, a couple fun moments. And even Bruce Willis has a couple fun moments. Like, my cholesterol's a little high. It's a funny line. I like that line. It's a great delivery.
Cholesterol's a little. Yeah. Oh.
But, like, come on. This movie hurts. It hurts on so many levels.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I don't like the fact that they also go and get Bruce in this movie. I don't think his whole segment is needed at all.
No.
They just decided they want to add some history and add some, I'm an old action actor. Ha ha ha, notoriety.
I'm Joe Colton.
Yeah.
General Joe Colton, the original Joe.
Hmm.
And dude, the whole arc between him and Jay just...
Yeah, I work with your father.
It comes off way more misogynistic than I think people think it did when they made the movie. Because it just does come off very misogynistic the entire time by calling her something that she's not.
Yeah.
The entire fucking time. It's like you didn't realize what you were doing the entire time, movie. But you did, because you commented it at the end.
Yeah, everything was all better at the very end.
Ah!
No, it's dumb.
And I'm not yelling at you, I'm yelling at the movie.
Yeah, it's dumb. What they did was dumb. This movie just kind of is really dumb.
Huh?
The one thing I find questionable too is because at the end of the last movie, what happens to Storm Shadow? We see him fall, right? And then that's it. And then this movie happens, and he's the inciting incident in two different ways. All right, cool. No explanation there.
Okay, the one thing this movie does right, Steven.
Okay.
It gives into the camp just a little. It needed to give into it more, but it gives into it just a little.
Okay.
Cobra Commander being in a Cobra Commander uniform.
I did like how he looked. It looks like Cobra Commander.
Like straight out of the TV show. It looked good.
It looked good. I hated what they did when he had his original mask from the first movie.
Oh God,
that was awful.
So dumb.
I was like,
I thought, like, my brain when he was putting it on, I'm like, oh right, this is when he puts on the actual, like, the silver mask and all that, and it doesn't happen. I'm like, is that seriously the next movie that they do that? Shit.
And it's not even like ceremonial or anything. It's just, here's your new mask, sir. That. Oh, he froze for a second. It scared me.
It looks good. No, I didn't freeze. I'm just fixing the mic
Oh,
because
you froze on my
I
side.
spiked it. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
But let's see.
nothing froze on my end. So no, I love how he looked because it was just like straight up Cobra Commander. You know exactly who he is.
Mhm.
As soon as you saw that, you're like, yep, nope, that's Cobra Commander. Um, and he looked pristine. He looked perfect. Um, when did I need to look up something really quick?
Which
When
movie?
did not a movie? It was the Ghosts. When did that come out? Ah, same year. So this movie uses the same technology that Ghost uses in their game.
What technology is that?
Zeus.
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 Okay. I've always called like I'm gonna sound dumb by saying this, but I've always called that rods from God. Like it's kind of what it
I
is.
mean, it is what it is.
Mhm. But I'm gonna be honest. I find that whole story arc dumb as well because work with me here. The first movie was about a technology that was supposed to be more destructive than nuclear weapons. Yeah? Yeah.
Yep.
Then the second movie, even though the first movie ends with him doing stuff related to the experiments, to one of his own sidekicks, the second movie continues, and then they're like, nope, no nukes at all. No one can have any nukes at all. No, we're doing the space satellite thing. So, like,
Well, and dude, the other thing too is like just the drop of all of the technology.
mhm,
Like Cobra had cool tech, Joe's had cool tech, and it just all disappears in a movie.
mhm.
Like that's what bothers me the most because we get nothing cool in this. Cool looking. We get actual things and like cool actual things, but at the same time, I'm like, but why?
I think the dumbest part for me, like, because yeah, they used to have cool things. The start of this movie, they're attacked by just regular old helicopters,
Yeah.
and we've seen like the end of the last movie, they literally had an underwater sea base with specially designed planes and submarines, and but you know that stuff anymore.
Yeah, in the beginning of the first one, we saw helicopters with like special weapons on them.
Yeah, the first movie, the main character, the main antagonist uses a special gun, and for some reason she decides through some of the fight. I forgot to talk about this then. I hated how during that sometimes she'd fist fight and the other time she'd use her super OP gun. Like depends on how lazy she felt in the
We
moment.
got a
Because,
movie.
yeah, because that's literally a thing that happened in that movie. She's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. All right, go on. Like she was Indiana Jones, but whatever. But in this movie, like they're like, hey, look, we've got this super cool tank thing that I'm pretty sure we borrowed from another movie, but whatever. And then, um, the freaking Bruce Willis and the tail bed of a whatever car.
Oh, dude, do not make fun of the El Camino. Okay,
I'm
that
making
is
fun of
one
the
of.
El Camino in the
You don't
context of
make
this
fun
film.
of the El Camino. Okay, you can't do it. It's illegal.
I'm making fun of
That
it
is
in this movie.
there is one thing that I will make illegal on all podcasts that this channel has. It's making fun of any El Camino scene in anything. Because the El
You're.
Camino is a treasure to me.
I was about to
All
say you're
right.
telling that to a guy who doesn't care about cars.
I don't care about cars either, but there's one car that is a stupid car, that is a pointlessly dumb car, but I still want more than anything is a fucking SS El Camino for no reason. It's not a great car, but I like them, okay? And this is one of those scenes that I'm like, it'd be fun just to fake do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a quick question actually. Kind of changing topics here. So we talked about there being a B plot. Does look kind of done.
It is dumb, I'm not gonna lie, but I love the El Camino, man.
Yeah. But in this movie, it's established that there is this band of red ninjas. Are they ever named? Are they just Cobra ninjas?
They're just Cobra ninjas.
Okay. So there's a mountain facility filled with Cobra ninjas.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
They don't name them or anything like that. I'm just assuming, Steven. But
I mean, it's just because the reason why I ask is because it's almost like they're Storm Shadows. I have to say Storm Shadow. I have to. It's hard for me to remember his name is actually Storm Shadow because I keep wanting to call him the White Shadow because his full white outfit. It's just Storm Shadow. He It's almost like those ninjas are his personal bodyguards.
okay,
Uh huh.
off of your comment there. Should we talk about the casting um of Snake Eyes
As Ray Parker.
child? Well, Ray
Oh.
Parker makes sense because he's wearing a mask the entire time and he can do really good stunts.
Mhm.
If the character's not going to talk or take off a mask, then I don't know if it matters as much. You know what I mean? And Ray Park is someone who does the stunts and all that.
Mhm.
But young Snake Eyes
From the last
as a
movie.
white American in these two movies is a choice.
No, I would agree. Art. I'm gonna double check one thing here.
The origin of Snake Eyes in the comics
No,
and the stuff.
like I figured, I kind of know what that is at this point. Yeah, Leo Howard was his. I mean, it's a choice definitely for him to be playing. Eh, um, you know, I believe he's Japanese, but I'm not 100% sure.
Let me see. Oh, his birthplace is classified. File name classified.
Because he was picked on for so long.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comic book origins, which is usually what you can go with.
Mhm. But yeah, it's. I mean, they wanted to pick a young actor because they couldn't get a young stunt double. So they had to pick a young actor who could actually do the stunts. Um, should they have looked a little bit harder? Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see the reason why they did it if they used a white actor as the adult version, white American actor. Why would they use a Japanese or Asian descent person for the child version?
I mean, I could see that as well. I still think then you should recast Ray. As much as I love Ray Park,
Like,
maybe
yeah,
recast him.
I just think of it kind of like as a general retcon. Just, that's how you should think about that one. He's no
That's
longer
fair.
the original race up until the next movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to get on to the next movie?
Um, Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about in this. You mentioned Marvel connections in this movie, right?
Yeah, with Padalecki.
And Ray Stevenson, the guy who plays Firefly.
Oh, wait, what is he?
He's in Thor.
Offhand.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, he's one of the three,
Mm-hmm.
isn't he? Yeah, he's the big dude from the three. Okay, right. Hold on, let me pull him up real quick. Vault Stag. Good call, Steven. Good call. I would have missed that because he looks nothing like he does in that. Volstagg has big hair and a big personality.
Mm-hmm. It only caught my attention because I was like, "Who's this actor? Why can't I not remember?" Oh, that's right.
Volstagg.
Mm-hmm. He also plays Gar Saxon, Clone Wars TV series. That's cool.
Nice.
All right, so I guess we can go into popcorn
I'm giving you your popcorn kernels.
for this movie. Since it is a worst GI Joe movie, God, how much lower am I gonna give it? I almost want to give it a 4.5, but since we round up, I'll just give it a 5.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
Really?
I'm giving it a 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Because like it's not good. It's not. They tried. I don't know. It's.
Did they?
I don't know. I really don't. Because they tried to make it more realistic. They got rid of the camp in this movie. Sure.
Except they didn't, because they made Cobra Commander look as camp as possible, and it works.
But it just because he looks that way doesn't mean he is inherently campy. Like,
no, he's
I
not,
find
but
the campy part of this movie is the fact that they're all specialized in one ability, and that's what their code name is based off.
I find it the campiness to be that there is no campiness, if that makes sense. It's that it takes itself too seriously. I think that is the campiness of the movie, because I think movies have we've moved past them being way too serious for themselves. If it's a franchise that doesn't need to be too serious, look at fucking Bumblebee as another Hasbro property. Or if we really want to go to another Hasbro property that doesn't take itself seriously, that we seem for some reason to be hellbent on enjoying more than half of the games that we've watched. Look at fucking Battleship, Steven.
Yeah, that one. That's the weird one still, man. Like, how the hell?
We enjoyed that though.
Yeah.
It was campy and stupid, but it understood that it was campy and stupid. G.I. Joe is inherently campy and stupid.
At least not in this one.
Not in this one. And that's why I'm giving it a 4. So it gives it a 4.5.
All right. I'll give it. That's fine. All right. We ready to move on? Last movie of the day?
Last movie of the day.
All right. Wait. Movie based off of a board game? Yeah. That's Battleship for you.
Still holding up the list.
Yeah.
Somehow. Dude, trust me, we are on the same page.
Yeah,
where is it on the fucking list?
It's 5th, I think.
Is,
or it's 6th, and it's the Gatekeeper.
5th, but we're debating if it could go higher again.
Yeah.
It's the Gate right now. Nothing like above it is Tomb Raider, Rampage, Sonic, and Detective Pikachu. And me and Steven have debated moving it
Tomb
up to
Raider,
3.
yeah. Ooh. All right. Let's switch gears here. So now we're gonna start talking about Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origin.
That's the original working title. Now it's just Snake Eyes, but we're gonna leave it as that because I always write down the original title for these things. So fuck it. This is what we're doing. Which was released this weekend on July 23rd, 2021, with a budget of $80 million estimated. U.S. opening weekend and current U.S. gross at 13 million and gross worldwide at 17 million. So not great. And you want to know why?
The last movie sucked.
And this one's kind of boring.
You know, I don't disagree.
Steven,
what? Go ahead.
It's one of the few movies that I almost fell asleep during.
Wow, that's impressive.
I went to it at 1:30
in the afternoon.
I shouldn't be falling asleep at 1:30 in the afternoon to a movie that's supposed to be an action movie, Steven.
See, I'm just gonna break this down fairly slowly in this part. Well, not slowly, but as best I can here. So we've seen movie 1.
Yep.
And then when we jumped to movie 2, they got rid of half the cast, and they're like, just forget about them. And then they got rid of the other half the cast, and they're like, just forget about them. This is now our franchise. Now for this movie, which is telling us, I don't want to say too much and get it mixed up. This movie, we get to this movie, and it's doing the exact same thing. It's saying, remember those movies? Forget them. We've got a story to tell. Yeah.
Yes.
And I've got to say off the bat, I kind of wish they kept it, the original. However, I am thankful that we actually have adults doing this rather than kids, because kid actors doing this would have been awful.
Yes.
So that's why they aged them up for the better movie. However, that being said, I'm not sure this is a strong enough entry to open a new franchise. Because as you said, it's kind of boring. My big complaint for a lot of this movie is how the action scenes are laid out for us. Because a lot of how it's filmed and how it's shown is they do tight angles, tight close up angles whenever it's time for a fight. So they'll go in really tight and really close for the person with their swords. You'll see the person do their attacks, and you'll see the people respond and do the fights and stuff whatnot. But the thing that gets weird is there are some sequences where it's like, oh my goodness, our two characters are fighting 20 people. You watch them swing their sword like 5 or 6 times, all 20 people are dead. And you don't get the detail. Like, I could tell those were really fairly well choreographed fights, but in the shooting of the film and of the segments themselves, because you're so close to the actor and how it's filmed, it's so shaky and hard to
It's
watch.
so shaky. I was waiting for you to say it. Holy shit, shaky cam.
Yeah.
Up the wazoo.
The whole thing is so it's incredibly hard to watch this movie, at least for me, because I apparently have terrible eyes. That says the one guy wearing glasses. But like it was
No, I agree with you 100%. The shaky cam and the close up is my biggest
Mhm.
complaint about the action.
And
Because like every time there's a fight, it's like here and going
yeah, it has such a narrow depth of field to where you can't see what's going on in the background either. So like I know a lot of people when it comes to the big group fights, they'll watch the background actors to see how they fill in their time. And you can't do that in this movie because you can barely see them because the tight angles and how blurry they are. And because of how fast it's moving.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch the action in this film. And then if we move past the action, we get to the characters, and our characters' motivations. I don't mind what Snake Eyes is going through as he's trying to navigate the story. I like that. I kind of like the will he won't he, which side of the coin is he going to land on storyline that we get. But
I feel like they lean too heavily into it because we already know where he's going to land.
In the end, yes. I feel like they needed to lean a little bit more on the negative aspect of him especially because we as the audience know what's going to happen, and we as the audience know what's happening in the moments of the movie while the characters themselves don't. But there's one character specifically that I think they really dumbed down in this film. Like, she's supposed to be the head of security. You know who I'm talking about when I say that.
Yes.
But throughout the entire movie, it's shown how incompetent she is. And not even like I mean this nicely, because she's a great fighter. And they show her being a badass fighter. But she is not good at like following her instincts or following this person or like to make sure that he's doing the right thing, and she's not good at judging this man's character because of how the segment of the movie ends. And we get to this crossroads in the movie where it's like, what's going to happen with the relationship and the development of the characters, and they kind of throw it away for the big action segments. And even the big action segments aren't good because they're slow paced. I actually started to laugh once we got to the final battle because the tone of the movie changed. Because the first half of the first 7/8 of the movie were nitty gritty realism that were hard to follow and shaky, except for when they started using wires. Because they did a lot of wire gags in this movie, like they were trying to do an homage to the original like kung fu fighting movies. So then they have this weird like mixture of kung fu magical fighting, but then there's this gritty realism, and then they get to the campy fight at the end, and yeah.
And there are some creatures in this movie that make me go, "What the fuck?" Movie, you're trying to be so goddamn nitty gritty realistic, and you have this shit in here just that took me out of the movie.
Mm-hmm. The creatures.
You know exactly what scene I'm talking about. As soon as we got there, I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah. I would have liked it if it was more like a Dagobah
Oh
Luke.
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like some sort of like thing that you take or some shit.
Hmm. Which we even had a segment, we had a test like that in this movie, and it wasn't good. It
No.
literally there was no test. They were just like, I want to have this interesting visual sequence, and it was pointless. It really was pointless because of our character's actions and how the movie progresses. It's not
Yeah.
like that segment does anything for anybody. And then we get past all that. I'm gonna move past that for now because I'm gonna get
Yep.
fixated on this. Then I want to talk about character decisions. I, when it comes to Tommy, aka Storm Shadow, um, I find he was a problem from the very beginning. Like it,
He was written very weirdly.
I agree with you, and I think it's dumb because he acts as kind of like a pseudo brother slash mentor towards Snake, but the things that he's a hypocrite. The things that he's trying to teach to Snake are not things that he himself follows. So it doesn't fit right for me.
Him
And
and Akiko are written so weirdly.
mhm. I don't like what they do to Akiko, like I said, with her relationship and her judgment and whatnot. Um, the one I also hate Scarlet. Scarlet has absolutely no business being in this movie
This movie has no business being called Snake Eyes either.
because I thought it was funny. The part of the reason why I kept the original title Snake Eyes GI Joe Origins is because they pull they almost pull an exact opposite of X-Men Origins Wolverines with Deadpool, because they turn him from a charismatic character into this silent, stoic stick in the mud. And they turn this silent, stoic, incredibly talented ninja into this incredibly talkative, honor bound warrior, and it's not the same character anymore.
I do like the changes. It makes sense for cinema.
And it's a better movie based off of the changes, but I think they really
What?
missed out on the art. They could have had a really convincing silent film, near silent film, like very close to Wally, where Wally only has like 7, 8. I'm exaggerating. It has like 50 lines of dialogue, and that could have happened in this movie too, where all of it is facial expressions and music and
Well,
cinematic story. It could have happened that way.
they could have also actually lived up to the vow because he never takes the vow.
Yeah, never in this
Also, the
movie.
way this movie ends, it doesn't set up either a G.I. Joe movie or a Snake Eyes movie. It sets up this weird thing where it's like, well, this movie being called Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origin originally doesn't work because this doesn't set up a G.I. Joe movie. It sets up a Snake Eyes sequel.
Yeah, it sets up a Snake Eyes sequel, and then after the Snake Eyes sequel, then we'll get our. They're pulling a Marvel because
Yeah,
now
but like,
because the next movie we're gonna get is gonna be a different character's origin story.
but with Marvel, they knew what they were doing. I don't feel like they know what they're doing with this so far because it doesn't feel like because when we get to spoilers, I'll talk about it more, but the fact that we don't get something until the very end pisses me off. I'm sick and tired of movies doing this shit.
Mhm.
Where it's called this movie, and they advertise the thing, but we don't get the thing.
Mhm. My actual complaint with this movie is the character development in this, because Snake Eyes. I'm speaking specifically about Snake Eyes and his character development. It essentially goes nowhere, other than he learns to be true to himself, and he learns that vengeance isn't the right path. Other than that change, nothing for him changes, and it takes 2 hours for that to happen. The reason I'm complaining about it is because when I think of this movie and a lot of the conflicts that happen in this movie, all around the fighting, all based around all the tension and all the conflict is based around how good of a fighter are our characters, except when it comes to the main antagonist. The main antagonist conflict has nothing to do with how good of a fighter you are, because the main antagonist is a far better swordsman than our main character. But at no point in any of the training montages is combat something that's addressed. It's always morals and um, the battle within rather than the battle on the outside. And it's this weird back and forth for me where they try to do the action, stress, and anxiety, tension, but then have a resolution that doesn't fit it because it's still set within the action anxiety framework, but has a different resolution. Especially too, the reason why I ended up laughing at this movie is the freaking hero scene where our main antagonist can literally stare at you and you're dead, but there's enough time for the group to all walk in from 7 different directions to be like, yeah, let's go.
Let's do our heroic post moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just I
Oh,
hate saying it. This is a better movie, but I almost would rather watch Retaliation.
this is a better movie. This is a one. I would say this is a 100% better movie than Retaliation. But I'm not sure I would watch it either. Like, Retaliation is bad because it's boring and it changes a lot of stuff. This movie is bad because it's boring and changes a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know which I would rather watch again. Like, oh, also the thing about the last movie, I forgot to bring up calling North Korea nuclear.
Oh
security
yes,
power is one
we're
of the
going to talk
dumbest
about that.
fucking things ever. I hate it. I hate it so much. Stop. They are not. You are. That is some fucking full on propaganda bullshit. Get
It's
the
American
fuck out of here.
propaganda there. in that
Mind you,
moment.
it's a GI Joe movie, so why the fuck not? It's American propaganda all the way through, anyway. So whatever the fuck ever.
Except in this
Anyways,
movie. This movie, the Joes are an international group of
well,
spies.
they were the first one.
But in the second movie, they're only Americans.
Which is so stupid. Again, why get rid of the cast? You had a great cast. Anyways, let's go back to this.
Which in this one, we don't have a
dry.
great cast. We do not have a great cast.
We have. Well, I don't think it's a cast's fault either. Casting, I don't think is the issue on it. I think this movie is just straight up writing. Is its problem.
You're probably not wrong.
I don't think it's written well, and then I don't think it's also shot super well.
That's definitely not wrong.
Because I think each of the characters, like, you could tell there was a lot given to each one of the characters in an acting standpoint, if that makes sense. Like, they gave the performance which was expected and needed for the character. But what was written wasn't exactly what was needed for the character.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do find some things that they did fairly interesting. Like, the guy who plays Blind Master, Peter Mensah, is actually a martial artist. Like, he's not an actor, he's a martial artist. That is what he does. And I'm pretty sure they do the same with Eco.
Oh yeah, Eco is a fantastic martial artist turned actor after being in The Raid.
Yeah, let's say The Raid is a movie that you will hear brought up anytime you watch an action film starring an Asian person, because The Raid is by far one of the best action films done. Just period, based to cinematography.
Anytime you watch an action movie, it should be brought up in the like this and John Wick need to be brought up as two movies that you compare action movies to.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he hasn't been in a lot of great movies since then that are made by Americans, because it seems when he's in an American-made movie, they don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
Mind you, I think he's entertaining in this.
He was in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I don't remember what he did. I don't know who that character is. So,
he was probably in there as like a cameo appearance.
Yeah, and then
Mile 22. We thought about watching.
Did we?
Oh
yes, we did. I remember that conversation.
Yeah. Stuber was also on our list as potential.
But I kind of vetoed that one at the last minute.
Yeah. I wasn't going to put up a fight.
The Triple Threat, I don't remember that at all.
That's billionaire daughter. Let me look it real quick.
Either way, he's a great action actor.
Oh, 100%.
And I think
Oh, it was a
Hardmaster.
Chinese movie. It was released in China.
Okay. And I think
Uh,
Hardmaster honestly
and
is
Thailand.
still one of my favorite. Is actually him and Blindmaster are my two favorite characters in this movie. I find what's her name, the grandmother. There is don't see her on the IMDb. Is it Ari Ishida? I
Let me
don't.
see real quick. Um, it might be actually.
And there's no picture, and I can't find of any. I can't find any other name that works.
I think it was Zen. Sen.
Okay.
She could have been more interesting.
It could have been more interesting. I thought she was going to be more like the Yoda character, the one where you couldn't see what was going to happen. But and she kind of was, but then she also wasn't, because I'm pretty damn sure she could have killed our main antagonist, but at least twice, based off of the segment that we got to see. But she's like, nope, I'm gonna put on a flashy show right in your face instead of killing you, which would end everything. That'd be great. But movie's got a movie.
Yeah, and not well enough.
I'm trying to think of other things in this I wanted to talk about. I'm still hooked up on freaking Scarlet in this movie. I didn't want her in here. I was totally fine with her doing the call, that scene. That scene's fine. If that was her only segment in the actual primary film, I would have
And
been
then maybe
fine
her
with that.
showing up at the end.
Exactly.
Not the end fight, but like
End
after the
credit
fight.
sequence. That's where I would
Yeah.
have put her. Because the end that we get would have been okay. We didn't need her talking about the Joes that we at the end of the movie. We also didn't need her in the big final fight. She's just there. I don't know why. She's just there.
Well, I think we need her talking about the Joes to get Snake Eyes into the Joes.
I hear ya, but I feel
Because
like that.
he's gotta be on a path to become a Joe.
Yeah, but I think that could have been in the post-credit sequence,
Oh yeah, 100% could have been a post credit. I
because
think it
the
would have
next.
been a better post credit than what we got.
Yeah, because what we
With
end up.
those two scenes.
Yeah, I probably would have done that, especially because what we do end up getting is just, as we said earlier, a setup for Snake Eyes 2, and not GI Joe.
Dude, and it does one of the things I hate most from Mortal Kombat.
What's that?
We'll talk about it in the spoiler section. Well, we'll talk about that in the spoiler section because I think it's spoilery.
You can't even allude to it a little bit.
Uh, Sub-Zero.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. I haven't got much else here.
Neither do I. I think we hit everything pretty well, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. Here's your popcorn kernels, Dev.
I'm giving it a 5.
5. That's what I was gonna give it
a very
to.
middle road movie for me. Like, it's better than the last one that we talked about, but not as good as Rise of Cobra, because Rise of Cobra had fun with its premise,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not feel like this was fun for me.
Yeah. I give it a 5 as well. It has this realism, and they tried to add some technique and technicality to it, but it doesn't pay off. I don't like what they do either. Like, I don't like the retcon in the grand scheme of. I would have much preferred them explain the original movie than try to restart the.
Well, they want to be able to make more movies, Steven.
I
And they
know.
ain't gonna bring Jack Channing Tatum, so
No more Channing. Oh well, he's too buff for the suit nowadays. That's why.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we're moving on here. We're in the spoiler section.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
We're probably gonna spoil all of the movies, to be completely honest, just a little bit, but
So Tommy, Storm Shadow. What? Call me Storm Shadow. I'm sorry, I got straight up what is it? You know? No. I call my Sub-Zero now. Oh, did you change your name this morning? Though in fucking Storm Shadow's case, yeah, you did. But why? Why are you going by Storm Shadow now?
because it was a line that was brought up in his anger. He's like the shadow of a storm, just looming over everybody.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, I hear ya. That was dumb. I just, like I said earlier, I don't like what they did with him just throughout the most of the movie. Like, he's supposed to be the guardian, mentor, brother, family member who helps him along the journey, but every step of the way, like, first challenge was get over your ego and your anger, and that's obviously something that Tommy didn't do. He is only ego, only anger, and so he's a hypocrite and doesn't practice what he preaches. And it makes complete sense that he is then later on kicked out from being the leader of the family. You know? Thing.
Yeah, he did the thing that you said you can't do.
Mm-hmm. Especially because in the that whole, I just G.I. Joe is a sci-fi fantasy now, for sure. Especially with the Sun Gem, the MacGuffin of the film, where all you have to do is hold it and think really hard, and something will catch on fire.
Also, giant pythons?
Yeah, giant. Were they pythons or are they
Ancient?
anacondas or
Anacondas, sorry, you're
Yeah.
right. My
giant
bad.
ancient anacondas? They are
The fuck?
they are the judge of your soul. No, not of your soul, of your heart.
Ah! And then they don't do the thing where he just admits it. Like, just have him admit it when he's being... Instead of getting saved, have him just fucking admit it instead of having to steal it. And then they play the dude. But then the dude actually gets the stone. And that would make more sense. Instead of what we got. Because they all of a sudden just forgive Snake Eyes for everything that he did.
Yeah.
For fucking them over.
Yeah.
They just forgive him because he fought on their side.
Mhm.
Why did they forgive the Baroness then?
Mhm.
No, they didn't. Because she's a fucking bitch, too.
Mhm.
Ah!
I was about to say, I hated the Baroness in this movie too. I didn't bring that up, but at least she has more story importance, only because she's supposed to be like the threat of Cobra.
Yeah.
But even that, you can pull the microphone away from your face. You can stop screaming into it.
Sorry, I needed a moment.
Yeah, but you still scream directly into the microphone. That didn't help
I
at
don't know
all.
what you're referring to about, I needed to enunciate what I was saying, okay?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I'm gonna lean back for a bit while I,
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't scream into the microphone again, please.
Nope. No promises, Steven. No promises.
Just push the microphone away before you start screaming.
Ah! Doesn't help, does it?
No, it actually helped a bit. It didn't peak the microphone that time.
It doesn't peak my end.
Peaks my end. We have different sound settings,
I
Dev.
thought we fixed that before.
I literally, so off, like on my OBS that I'm staring at, for me, I have me totally normal. I haven't changed a damn thing. And when I talk on average, I'm in the yellow bars. For you, I have dropped you down to -35 to get you on average the same level as me.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're loud.
I'm sorry. I'm just naturally that way.
Mm-hmm. And then we get into weird situations where, like, on Discord, I have to turn you up, and then on your streams, I have to raise the volume of your streams because you're really quiet for some reason. even though
Because
you're
I have my settings set in a way that keeps me in the yellow on stream.
but it's still like you yourself are really loud. It's so strange. Like it's strange. Your sound stuff is weird.
It's having better audio quality because, like, for some things, like on my end, I know how to set everything exactly how to set it, so that for the most part, everything audio level wise is good. Sometimes other people are a little off,
Mhm,
but I try to tweak that as best I can, and it's not always going to be perfect.
mhm,
But for myself, I know exactly where to set everything so that I'm not like peaking all the
mhm.
time because I know I can do that easily just talking. Um, so yeah, I think it's also just having a better audio setup. Anyways, we should
Yeah.
get back to the movie.
So we're talking about Tommy and Snake Eyes and whatnot. So I want to start with Akiko actually, because well, let me actually start from how they all meet. Because Tommy is Snake Eyes, Snake is hired by our bad guy, who the bad guy's name is
Uh, is
I
it Kent?
think it's Mr. Augustine.
No, that's the dude that he's trying to kill. I think it's Kenta. Should be Kenta.
Kenta. Yeah,
Takihara, Hayara, Hayara.
I hate how IMDb doesn't have.
Fourth person on
Yeah,
the top of the
but there's
cast.
no
Yeah.
pictures of him, so I in costume. It could be him. I can't tell.
No, it's him.
Um, but either way, um, he hires our. Okay, yeah, I can see it now. I had to see a right picture to see it. Yeah, it's him. Okay. Um, he hires our main antagonist, our main good guy. Sorry, our protagonist Snake, to work for him to find his killer, his father's killer, who is Mr. Augustine. We'll say at this point. And then we find out that it was all a ruse to get him into the good graces of the Arashikage because they're related, and the bad guy and the good guy, or the bad guy and Tommy are related. So all this plot stuff happens, and at the very beginning, um, Akiko is skeptical of him, which totally makes sense because, as she says in this movie, he's a ghost. They know nothing of him. They know nothing of his family ties, whatever. And he just came from the Yakuza because that's where Kenta was working. I assume Kenta's the leader of the Yakuza, but it's strange to think that he's the leader of the Yakuza, only because I'm thinking of like real life history. So, whatever. In this universe, he's the leader of the Yakuza.
Or at least a branch of it.
Yeah. And so Akiko's like, I don't trust him. He's an outsider. He's a ghost who worked for the Yakuza. Something's wrong. Tommy's like, I don't believe you. He's totally fine. And the entire time, Akiko's right. He is trying to steal that damn magical sunstone. And,
Dude, I love that you're calling it a sunstone too, because it's either a sunstone or a firestone. Let's be real. From Pokemon.
It's yeah. What did they call it in this movie? The gem of the sun, or
Yeah, Gem of the Sun, I think is what it is.
yeah. So that's the magical MacGuffin that we're supposed to grab, and throughout the movie, Tommy is just honoring and faithful and like, yes, absolutely, I trust this guy. No ifs, ands, or buts. Akiko is skeptical. She has every right to be, and somehow Snake, even though he is not pure of heart or whatever, is able to convince Akiko that he is pure of heart and can be trusted. And it bugs me because Akiko even talks about she has a scar on her neck from a past relationship we know nothing about, but all we know is that she
I
trusted
didn't
somebody.
even notice the scar. I'm not gonna lie.
I
until
noticed
it was brought up.
Yeah, I only noticed it because it's on like the back of her neck, and there's a moment where she walks away and like brushes her hair back, and he's like, "What's with the scar?" But
Dude, I don't even, like, straight up, I don't even, like, remember her having a scar even during that scene. I'm like,
I mean, yeah,
okay.
it's not noticeable. It's not on her face, so it doesn't matter really. Where she has to live with seeing the repercussions of said art, whatever, character stuff, good character stuff, whatever. But she has a scar from somebody that she was trusted and stabbed in the back from, literally. Uh, but now she trusts this guy who then stabs her in the back and stabs all of them in the back and gives the gem to Kenta. And then Kenta goes and blows everything up with said magical stone. And because he comes and saves the day, um, Snake Eyes, comes and saves the day, he's forgiven. All's forgiven. And in fact, because Tommy is the one who uses the stone, even though he's been charged with never using it, he is the one who is punished. And he's told that he could no longer rule the family, but he could always serve. So that's nice. And that also, I guess, kind of bugs me. Because, once again, Tommy is still being a hypocrite. He's trying to preach all these values and these lessons and be like, the person that I need working by my side also needs to value these lessons when he himself doesn't. So,
Yeah.
there's that. And then, yeah, sure, Tommy's punished. But then, Akiko isn't. Akiko is the one who essentially lets Snake get away. She lets him escape with the stone because she's conflicted because she trusts him. And then Snake has no repercussions for nearly killing everybody and betraying their trust on multiple accounts. Especially too because he fucking like he gets kicked out. He legit is told you can't be here anymore. And then he same night manages to steal the stone and they're like, oh, what's happening? And that I forgot to mention that these are supposed to be super spy ninja assassin people, ninja, and they can't say here another ninja who has been told who we've seen numerous times is not the best ninja or the best fighter in this movie, but he can still blend in and not be seen by far better ninjas and fighters.
Also, that building was never hinted at being that building. He had snuck to a different building that entire time. You remember that?
Yeah, he snuck
And
to a
we never
different
saw
building.
that other building that entire time. And then he does that thing. Where did he get the gadget to do that, by the way? Was he given that by Baron
Which gadget, sorry?
to break the wall sensors?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm gonna
This
assume
movie's
yes.
bad in some ways, man.
Mm-hmm.
For being a movie that's good in a lot of other things. Like, it has, like, actual character stuff that's in it. It has actual, like, if it was shot better, it has fantastic action. It has fantastically choreographed action.
Yes.
But you can't see the action because it's all fucking shaky cam.
Mhm.
So it's just this the entire fucking time. Oh
Mhm.
shit. This is where I live now.
Oh, that's great.
That's not a bad camera angle if I wanted to set something up like that, though. Just be like, just behind the monitor.
Yes, hi.
What?
That's funny. So, and then yeah, this movie. What was Snake Eyes known for in the first two movies? Being the badass fighter who didn't talk. That never happens. He never takes his vow. He's never the silent type.
He doesn't get the suit until the end of the movie. I'm still so pissed off about that. Like, God damn it. Movie needed to do one thing, and is give Snake Eyes the suit for the final battle, okay? That's all you needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
This has the reverse problem that I had with Man of Steel. Superman gets the suit way too early in Man of Steel. Snake Eyes never gets the suit in this movie. Ugh. Like, oh, God. Ugh.
One thing I do like though, like I said before, I liked Hard Master and I liked Blind Master. I liked the of course, they were kind of stereotypical when you think about it, but I liked how Blind Master is the all-knowing, all-seeing, the wisest. It has the cool techniques where he literally blends in behind the wall. Like that was funny to me. I liked that.
Yeah, that was good. Saw you.
Hmm. And then Hard
Good attempt.
Master apparently being essentially blind, but being a really damn good fighter. Like that's and being a hard ass. I liked it.
Oh yeah, he was great. Man, I expected more from this. I know that's saying something stupid because I shouldn't have, but I did,
I mean, no,
and I feel dumb for it.
I don't entirely blame you. Like I expected more from this, and I wasn't even a fan of the last two movies. Major, like I wanted more of what we saw originally. Like I wanted to know, I wanted to meet Zartan in this movie. I wanted Hardmaster to die, and I don't know. None of this other stuff happens.
Yeah.
And one thing I also find hilarious is once again characters, they're important to the story, but they're not given names. Like Stephen Alric, who plays the dad, his character's name is Father. Literally just Father. That's it.
Yep.
It makes me think of the president of the United States. He was very important in the two
Or
movies.
in the second movie, president.
Mhm.
He's not
Very-
even president of the United States. He's
Yeah.
just president.
And his role, his character, quote unquote, is very important in that movie, but doesn't have a name.
Ugh.
Especially because his role in this movie is being the driving force for Snake Eyes. Snake's whole
Well,
thing.
he gets a name at the end, and I need to look it up because it was Bright Sword, right? Oh, that just died. I need to go grab the other battery.
There's just a bunch of problems right now. But that's what the guy's name was at the end. Brights.
I think. Codename Bright Sword. Fuck off.
I see a Marvel hero called Bright Sword, but
Yeah, I think that's So the father was a Joe, codenamed Bright Sword, and he was murdered by Cobra. Like the Baroness earlier mentions that she used someone with Snake's skill sets. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so he's not really set up for anything because I don't see who Bright Sword is.
just a name. It's a stereotype because he comes from the land of the rising sun and he uses a sword. At least in this movie, like they do better than what they did with Mortal Kombat, where they just grab Joe Smo from off the street and not a great fighter, and then he becomes a decent fighter. Like at least in this one, it's like they grab Joe Schmo from off the street, and he's always just been amazing. That's that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even then, Joe Schmo in the last one that we talked that you brought up there wasn't a great fighter by the end. He just knew how to take a fucking punch.
That's true. I could take a punch and punch you back with it.
I'd say this is a better. What did we give Mortal Kombat?
Not much.
When did we do that? That would have been like a couple months ago, right?
Mortal Kombat. I gave it a
Oh.
6. Actually, I gave it better than this movie. But this
Do you
movie's
regret that decision?
I do. This movie's better than Mortal Kombat.
You're the reason why it's at a 5.5.
This movie's at a 5.
We'll talk more about it after the stream, but this goes to continue my theory, Steven, that this is your year for movies. You seem to just enjoy this year.
I'm not. I almost feel like this is bad. Like, if I had more emotions, I think it'd be better. Only because I'm just very much going like, this movie exists.
No,
That's
it's because you
boring.
have a wider. Well, you have a very narrow scope. I think for
Mhm.
you, Steven, it's been a year of movies you enjoy but don't love or hate. Me, it's been a year of movies that I either like a lot, hate a lot, or I'm very eh.
I almost thought you were gonna say you loved this movie, but
No,
I'm
God,
thankfully that
no.
you didn't. I'm very thankful that you
I
didn't say you
nearly
loved
fell
it.
asleep, Steven, like 3 times.
Yeah, when I sent you the snap message that I showed you, where it was me in my car with my fuzzy dice,
This was me going, "Oh God, dude, I can't. This movie."
I thought you were going, "Yo, bro, wasn't that great?" I was like, "Oh no, he's
No,
not that excited for it, is he?"
no,
Okay.
no. That was me going. There was going to be a conversation. Because I did not enjoy this, and I don't like that I didn't enjoy this. Yeah.
Well, at least in this one, it makes a little more sense. Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah. I'll agree to that.
Well, I guess if that's what you like, yay, it's a win. But that's that's not what I liked about the first. But
Yeah,
at least in the first movie, like I said, I the worst development was uh Cobra,
yeah.
which if this like I want to try, my brain keeps trying to make these movies all connected. They're not connected. It's not the same universe of GI Joe.
Nope.
But my brain's like, yeah, they should be. And Snake from the first and second movie, and now Storm Shadow, they're technically crazy because that's not what happened, obviously. But they keep telling themselves it was a childhood fight,
Well, so's
whatever.
Blind Master.
Yeah, Blind Master as well. He's Blind Master's an idiot if he held onto a sword for 20 years and never realized it was their actual sword. That it was a forgery the whole time.
Let's not even get into that, okay? Let's not get into that. Because that's a whole can of worms I do not want to open that entire plot
Yeah,
line.
that's just dumb. So at least that happens. But in I'm still like, how could you make? And I'm also thinking like comparison wise. In the first movie, we see the rise of Cobra. It's the first time he's ever like, yes, I am Cobra. I am in charge. This is my Cobra army. Yeah, blah 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 blah. So now I'm like Snake Eyes, present day, before the first movie still, but still technically present day, and Cobra exists, but Cobra didn't exist until the first movie.
Well, Cobra existed, but it was like
But it was Destro's army at the time. And
Destro was using it before he was Destro. It's ugh. It doesn't work. It doesn't
it
work if
doesn't
it was
connect anymore.
no. This has become X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Mhm.
but better.
I'd say better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, yeah.
Hmm. Weird. Weird. Do you want to get into news?
Yeah, let's get into news and wrap things up here. Got another person digging your hair, Kev.
Oh, sweet. Yo, thank you.
All right, so news, wrap up, all that fun stuff. So, the only news that I have other than next month's movies is there's a trailer that I saw drop today. I'm not sure if it dropped today, but I'll tell you what. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They're letting him do this? Army of Thieves.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, directed by Zack Snyder for Netflix. A prequel sequel based off of freaking the hacker locks picking man. Oh god,
And it
why are they
looks
giving him more?
entertaining,
Didn't
and I hate it. I hate that I'm like, that looks entertaining, but it's Zach, and I didn't enjoy the last thing he did. The last two things he did, actually.
and the last thing he did directly ties to this movie.
Yep.
How did Netflix think that that was a good idea? Don't know, but they let him continue his franchise. His zombie, robot, alien, themed heist. Fuck. Zombie movie.
Yeah.
Whoever Netflix needs to figure its shit out, man. So
Yeah.
that was that news. I don't know. Do you have any interesting news?
No, I got nothing.
Give me 1 second to scroll through one page of news articles. Uh, M. Night Shyamalan's movie actually won the box office this. That's interesting.
Didn't have a ton of competition.
Well, it had to fight Space Jam and this movie, Snake Eyes.
Space Jam released last weekend. Black
True.
Widow's been a few weeks old. This movie was not as interesting. Because M. Night Shyamalan, at least you're either going to get a bad movie that you can laugh at or a good movie that you'll be like, oh, that was interesting. No, we have not watched Tomorrow War. We're going to at some point.
I forgot about that movie actually, but I do want to actually throw it.
Do we want to audible something then?
What would you change?
Week 3 first movie.
Checking.
If we fit it in that month. I'd leave that up to you. I'm willing to leave it as is.
Week 3.
It'd be a weird combo. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
it only worked because they're new movies, and
Right.
I don't like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna say no on the audible.
It might be a bit before we watch the Tomorrow War.
We'll watch it at the beginning of next month. I don't know. It might be.
No, it's gonna be a bit longer than that, Steven.
Well, we need something to partner with Shang-Chi, so.
Oh, yeah, that'll do well with Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's talk about.
Next month?
Yeah. Sorry, felt like that should have been in theaters. Tomorrow War? Maybe. I'll find out. I still need to watch that movie. It's something that I've been wanting to
Same.
watch. Okay, so next
I'm waiting
month.
until we review it. For me,
I might not.
that's fine.
Yeah, but that next month.
Next month.
Yeah. So next month we're watching new movies. Really, not all of them
Yeah.
are new movies, but each week except for week 4, something new.
Yeah, and this is a 5-weeker.
Yep. 5 weeks. Woo! So next month we're starting with Haunted Mansion and Jungle Cruise, and we're talking about
theme remarks.
Disney theme park rides. Then the week after that we're going into a movie that came out on Netflix called Gunpowder Milkshake, which is I know very little about it, but I'm very excited to watch it. And then we're going into Suicide Squad. So
Both guns and squads.
yeah, totally. Then the next week after that we're doing real life video games, kinda, with Gamer and Free Guy. And then the week after that, sadly, Dev's not going to be here.
I will be out of town.
A little busy. So I managed to get special guest for that week. Her name is Just Want a Dragon. I don't think she's been on the channel at all yet, other than one time on the Har Har podcast. So I
Weren't they on Hardcore Game Night before?
maybe I don't remember.
Hold on, I can pull that up real quick.
Let's say Hardcore Game Night is kind of one of those ones that doesn't stick to my mind because
No, that's fine.
it's fun, but none of the shows are memorable. For me, at least.
Yeah, Dragon's been on twice.
Okay. Yeah. Dragon will be back to be on this show, Critically Casual, where we'll be reviewing the movie Music Man and the movie Singing in the Rain. Both musicals that me and Dragon have been in, and Dev technically has helped with them.
I was in Singing in the Rain. I didn't help with Music Man. I watched Music Man from the audience.
Music Man, I'm getting confused. I can't remember if I was in that one or if I was in the pit.
You were in that one.
Ah. And Singing in the Rain, I was also in. I just remember being in the pit for one musical. I can't remember which musical.
Was that Singing in the Rain? Because I was in the pit and Singing in the Rain.
Because in Singing in the Rain, I was R.F. Simpson. the boss.
Oh right, no, then you were in the pit in Music Man because I wasn't in Music Man.
Yeah, because I remember.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. You were in the musical Singing in the Rain. You were
Yeah.
in that.
With music, one of the musicals I remember, I thought it was Music Man, where I was a background dancer on stage before I became R.F. Simpson the next year. I just can't remember.
Maybe you were.
I really can't remember.
I can't tell you. I can't remember because I wasn't in that one, so I can't help. I
Maybe
just
Jekin will
watched.
help. When she's here, she
Maybe.
might remember better than us. And then the last week, the week after that, we're doing the original Candyman made in 1992, and then we're doing the new Candyman that's coming out at the end of the month.
Which are connected.
Yeah. We get to see how they connect to each other and how they've advanced the concept. Hopefully it's not as racist.
Well, I mean, Jordan Peele is
Oh, then it'll be great.
directing it, so it'll be good.
It'll be great.
He'll probably use what happened in the first one like as a way to connect it in a way that makes sense. And like uses that stuff from its past as a way to tell the story even better.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really good at that. So it's gonna be a good month.
I'm excited. Mostly new movies. Some exciting stuff. Yeah, next. I'm excited for the week where Dev's not here and I'll finally have. I'm just kidding. It's the week where we'll agree on everything.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy here. Are you happy here?
I'm happy here.
All right, and that's that. We're done, everybody. We appreciate everyone who's been here and stopped by. You're awesome. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, all the other social media stuff. And I guess we'll see you next week. Ooh,
For Haunted Mansion and Jungle Cruise.
we just got a sub. Hey.
Oh, Ghosty, thank you for the sub.
So, Dev, what are you going to do at the end of this podcast?
Way to fucking ruin it for me.
What?
You're not supposed to say anything about it.
What?
You know, I'm not even gonna do it now. Fuck you.
Fine.
Fuck you.
Fine. I'm going to Disney World. Fuck you.
No, fuck you. I had a good one, like, lined up. And you just fucked it. Just being like, so, Dev, what are you gonna do at the end of this one? I was gonna sing Welcome to the Jungle. We got a cruise for you. But no, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm out.
I'm going to Disney World. You literally walked away. Bye, everybody.